Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make the most incredible, chewy, New York style gluten-free bagels. To start off with, you want to activate your yeast. Now to do this, I'm adding some caster sugar to some warm water, give it a good stir, and then I'm going to add my yeast to this. Now the yeast I'm using is this Dove's Farm quick yeast, which is certified by Celiac UK, and I find it in the free from aisles in the UK supermarkets. Now I'm just going to pour the yeast in. We use 14 grams in this recipe. Give it a stir so that it's mixed into the water, and then simply cover it up and leave it in a warm spot for about 5 to 10 minutes until it gets a nice froth on top, a bit like the head on a pint of beer. While the yeast is activating, prepare your dry ingredients. So I'm adding some gluten-free white bread flour. Again, I think this is the Free by Dove's Farm mix. And then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of xanthan gum, which is going to help strengthen the mix and make it more bread-like. I'm also going to add some salt to the mixture to bring out the flavour, and a couple of teaspoons of baking powder. Give this a good stir and then set to one side until your yeast is ready. When the yeast is nice and frothy like this, it's time to add it to the mixture. So I made a little well in the middle and then simply pour it in and give it a really good mix. Before we mix it up though, we're going to add some oil to the mixture. So I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil. You could use something like olive oil, but it will maybe make it taste a little bit different. I like vegetable oil because it's quite light and it really doesn't affect the taste at all. Now give this a good mix, and you'll see as you start to mix it all up together with a wooden spoon, it does turn into a much thicker dough. Now this does go a little bit more dough-like than some of my other bread recipes. As you can see, it's coming away from the side of the bowl, and this is when you know it's ready. So when there's no lumps of flour left and it looks like this, you can see it's nice and squishy, a bit sticky, but that's fine. We're going to leave that in the bowl to prove. Now we want to give this about an hour so that it puffs up and doubles in size. I'm just going to cover it with some cling film and pop it in a nice warm spot so that it can rise. In the meantime, I'm making an everything bagel mixture to go on top of my bagels. So to do this, you're going to need a couple of tablespoons of poppy seeds, a couple of tablespoons of sesame seeds, some onion salt and some garlic powder. Give this a really good stir and pop it to one side, ready for when your bagels are ready. Now as you can see, after an hour, the dough has puffed up really well, and I'm just popping my mixing bowl on top of the scales so I can weigh out about 125 grams of dough. This depends how big you want the bagels, but for me this is the perfect size. I'm just popping some flour on my hands to stop them sticking, and then I'm just going to mould this into a kind of flat circle and then use my thumb to poke a hole in the middle so you get that classic bagel look. And then that's it, your shaped bagel. Now you want to carry on doing this until you've got all your bagels formed. It doesn't take that long to do, and as you can see, the mixture isn't too sticky, and if it does start to stick, then simply put a bit more flour on your hands and you'll find that it comes away perfectly. Now once we've got all our bagels, the first stage of cooking is to boil them. And I'm just going to pop 2 to 3 bagels in a big pan of salted boiling water. Now we want to give them about a minute, and as you can see, they start to float to the top. Just make sure they don't stick together, and then after a minute, use a slotted spoon to turn them over. And then we're going to give them about 40 seconds to a minute on the other side, and once they're done, spoon them out, drain them off, and pop them on a lined baking sheet. Now because we have to do this in batches, I like to cover them over with a damp tea towel so that they don't dry out too much while the others are cooking. And once you've got all your bagels done, you want to brush them with some beaten egg. This is what's going to give them a lovely glaze when they come out of the oven. Now if you want to make this recipe completely vegan, you could use a dairy-free milk instead of egg to brush over the top. Then I'm simply going to sprinkle on my topping mix. Now you can use whatever toppings you like. You could use either sesame seeds or poppy seeds on their own. You could just brush them and leave them plain. I love to use this everything mix. It just gives the bagels such a nice flavour. And that's it. Then we're going to bake them in the oven until they're gorgeously golden brown like this. And that's your bagels. Give them a little bit of time to cool down so that they're warm but not hot, and then you can cut them open and do whatever you like with them. Personally, I like to spread some cream cheese on top, maybe have them in a sandwich type format with cream cheese and smoked salmon. They also go really well with smashed avocado. They're so versatile. They're best eaten on the day of cooking. As you can see, they're lovely and soft with a nice chewy outside. But if you do want to eat these a day or so afterwards, the best thing to do to freshen them up is to either toast them or to sprinkle them with a little bit of water and pop them back in the oven for about 5 minutes. You can also put them in the microwave for about 15 to 20 seconds, but I think it's best to bake them up on the day and scoff them straight away. So there you go, delicious gluten-free bagels. For more recipes like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon.